What is up? You are back for another video with DataZero. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be talking about the crypto flash crash in this video. I'm going to be watching a CoffeeZilla and Upper Echelon video showing you guys and talking to you guys about the crypto flash crash and showing you guys some insider trading that occurred. Remember, everything on the blockchain is checked and written down in history. So let's go ahead and show you guys what's going on with this. Let's hop in right now.
Welcome to an $190 million insider trading analysis. Someone made $190 million while the crypto markets were crashing yesterday in light of tariffs that seem to have been preempted by a very specific trader. We're going to get into it. I want to be clear that I'm not accusing anyone of a crime here. Insider trading specifically relates to securities. We've been pretty clear that crypto, especially Bitcoin and Ethereum, are not securities. So I don't even know what this is. I think this is all legal. Kind of. I don't think it should be, as you'll see. But
so that's the thing, because crypto is not a security. Is this all legal? We are seeing now more than ever white collar crime at a industrial scale. It's crazy. Crime is legal in America. The question is, what
did this guy know? Okay, how did somebody make $190 million while everyone else was losing their shirts yesterday? If you don't know, there was one of the biggest crashes we've ever seen in crypto. And someone came in 24 hours before and started placing shorts against the market. Short is just when you bet that the underlying asset is going to go down in price and you will make money on that. Now, this all started October 9th. At 16:39 GMT time, they start accumulating this Bitcoin short. They initially put, and this is not chump change, guys. This isn't under your couch, pennies. This is.
Now wait till you see the exact times that they do this. You cannot deny that this is insider trading.
$80 million that initially gets deposited, and they start placing shorts against Bitcoin. Okay, that's fine. Now the amount is unusual, but that itself is not the unusual part. Then we have Ethereum starts to get shorted at 3:49 GMT. Interesting. $30 million gets deposited into this account. Immediately start placing major bets that the market is going to go down. Why is this significant?
Let me know what you guys think in the comments.
Because at 14:57, this is only a few hours later, like 12 hours later, Trump posts on Truth Social that they are calculating a massive increase on Chinese.
So 12 hours later, massive short positions are made, and then 12 hours later, we get the Truth Social tweet or post, whatever you want to call it.
Tariffs. This is due to a rare earth mineral dispute. But the point is, nobody knew this was coming, except, of course, maybe this guy, because he's already got these multi-million-dollar shorts. Now, where I think this goes from suspicious to downright diabolical is the fact that at
literally diabolical.
At this point, the market dips a little bit because you have these threats of tariffs. But the person does not start closing out their shorts yet, which I think is very interesting. If you place this huge short bet,
we've seen that,
and then the president tweets something like this, you would think you would close out your order. But not only do they not do that, not only do they not close out their short, they continue to place short bets against Bitcoin. In fact, this person continues to short Bitcoin all the way up till 2049-23 GMT. Why is that significant, ladies and gentlemen? It's because 2049 is the last short he places, okay? 2050 GMT. A minute later, 1 minute later, Trump announces they're considering an 100% tariff on.
So he starts opening up short positions beforehand, and then all the way up until 1 minute before the post, he stops placing them, and then this post drops. This had to be somebody on the inside that was very close to Trump. It had to literally be somebody on his team or his kids or him himself. Crime is legal, ladies and gentlemen. I know there's some Trump fans in the audience, but ladies and gentlemen, this had to have been somebody very, very close to them or him.
China, which of course tanks the market, and
I'm
this
gonna call
person
it how I
makes
see it.
literally $190 million in 24 hours. Meaning the guy was placing shorts up to 1 minute before Trump announces this big, huge 100% tariffs. And then,
we don't know
by
who
the
it was
way,
yet.
Immediately, as if he knew something, we start seeing the shorts close only 30 minutes later.
Someone
so
with
both
a lot
the
of money.
ETH and Bitcoin short closed 30 minutes later. By the way, these accounts were funded by the same people. This is the same person making these trades. So to recap, this person not only times the same day that a big announcement was made, he makes these $110 million short against crypto. He then also conveniently waits past the initial tweet about tariffs until the most significant announcement, which is the 100% tariffs, and he's shorting it up till 1 minute before that. Guys, this is some of the most blatant crime is legal moments we've seen. 190
literally blatant, like he said, crime is legal moments, ladies and gentlemen. This is wild, and to me, it had to have been somebody with a deep insider knowledge that definitely had to have been close to Trump. Had to have been. Now that could be a number of people, but
$1 million. And the question is anything going to be done? No, actually, I can already answer that for you. Probably not. But I think what we are seeing here is just the rise of insider trading across the board. I think
we have Nancy Pelosi doing it. We have everybody. Everybody's getting on board with it. The president made a meme coin, dude. Crime is legal. Crime is legal. It's crazy.
It's disgusting. I think it ruins capital markets, and it's bad, but I don't really know what to do about it because it just seems like everywhere we're seeing the insider trading. I don't know if some of you remember there was a time where, Trump was going to post on his Truth Social that it's a good time to buy crypto, and people were buying SPY calls immediately before it. But this is just completely blatant stuff, just given the perfect timing of it all and the size of the bets that were made under such kind of sniper precision. At least that's what it looks like to me. But I also wanted to say this isn't the only place where this is happening. This YouTuber Cheddar Flow has a tool where they analyze options, and they pointed out that recently there's been a big AMD announcement where they partnered with OpenAI. OpenAI is going to, receive some of their stock, and conveniently, people were making bets on that as well immediately before it.
The most insane
So this is another example of more insider trading, blatant insider knowledge trading.
Trade of the entire year just happened. An AMD whale bought 6 million plus of out-the-money calls, which was super unusual. Cheddarflow actually posted on X right as that occurred. And then only 2 trading days later, we had news that OpenAI took a 10% stake in AMD. And those calls that these whales loaded only 2 trading days before were already up 300%.
So yeah, I just wanted to point out that it's not just crypto where this is happening. Seems like across the board. By the way, I love the title of this. It says this has to be illegal, except I don't think anything's going to happen about it. And that seems to be the rough vibe in the industry recently. It's that hey man, it might not be technically kosher, but if you can get away with it, you're probably fine. And it seems like most people are getting away with it in this market.
I mean, we have people like rug pulling people. We have literally people out there that, I don't know if you guys heard of the guy who literally, this is horrible to say, but babies with terminal illnesses, he uses them to make meme coins, and he steals their likeness, and then he scams them, and then he rugs the meme coin. And then he goes and actually talks about the baby bad on social media. Like, this guy is a pure psychopath. But we live in a crazy time. I don't know if you guys seen the video I did on Pump.Fun. Like, we live in a crazy, crazy time where crime is legal and people are just everybody's just, it's greed. This is going to collapse, bro. I don't want to be doom and gloom, but this is going to collapse. This is end times. This is end level shit, y'all. End time level shit.
Even the Nobel Peace Prize isn't safe from people front running. This is the poly market of it. And as you can see, this is where it finally got announced, the winner. But before that, traders were already basically pricing in the fact that somebody knew ahead of time that the person who won was going to win hours before. Wow. And they made a bunch of money doing that. So there's insider trading, an opportunity to insider trade across the board for people who have that sweet, sweet insider knowledge. And it doesn't seem like a lot's being done about it. In fact, specifically, the smartest thing to do is just know what Donald Trump's going to post on Truth Social ahead of time, since so much of our market is now just moving based on tariff threats. That's like
Folks,
where the
don't
real
be
alpha
scared.
is.
We
It
are
used to
in
be
the
you had to
Matrix.
buy
They
a
have been
Bloomberg
doing this
terminal.
for years. It is
Now,
part of the
you just
game.
have
He
to
who
know
has the
what
gold makes the
he's gonna
rules.
post
Spot trade
ahead of time, which,
WEL.
for the record, I
Yeah, we
think
got
it's
to
a
get
great
our
way to
bag.
run our
No,
economy.
that's right, bro. We got to get our bag. We have to get our bag, dude, and we have to do it using the markets. So they are going to try to scare you out of the markets. Me, I'm getting the bag any means possible. There's only one way to multiply your wealth and get hundreds and thousands of % gains, crazy gains, and it's through the market. I'm doing it too. They're just the game. We have to know that the game is rigged for the big guy. We know that. All right, guys. So that is the CoffeeZilla. Let's go ahead and move into Upper Echelon, which also did a great video about it, about 14 minutes long. And then we're going to go ahead and do the weekly outlook prediction. Let's go ahead and hop in this one right now. Shout out Upper Echelon. Check them out.
This video is brought to you by Incogni. Stick around to hear more about the special offer they're providing to the entire Upper Echelon community. I don't really feel like anyone reputable even disputes that fact, at least not anymore. But rarely do we ever see such a stone-cold, blatant example of corruption and insider trading than what happened on October 10th of 2025. Let me explain. Crypto is dominated overwhelmingly by whales. Large accounts executing profitable trades and manipulating the markets to
Let's
the tune
get some
of
hype in the
billions.
chat for Andrew.
This is a well-known fact. But what happened on October 10th is unprecedented. Following a social media post by President Trump at precisely 4:50 p.m. Eastern Time, which is important, following a social media post about new tariffs being imposed on China, not only did the traditional stock market take a hit, actually the regular stock market took a hit after this post right here, in which he said, quote, "One of the policies that we are calculating at this moment is a massive increase of tariffs on Chinese products coming into the United States of America," end quote.
So this
which
was a
happened
series
at
of
10:57
posts.
a.m., as in right here, before the market dumped. But later on, at 4:50 precisely, he said this, quote, "Starting November 1st, 2025, or sooner, depending on any further actions or changes taken by China, the United States of America will impose a tariff of 100% on China over and above any tariff that they are currently paying. Also on November 1st, we will impose export controls on any and all critical software," end quote. Honestly, he's been...
And that's why, obviously, tech took huge hit, man. So this is getting crazy. We have to get good news or we're going to see a continuation down.
threatening things like this constantly during the administration. I don't think anyone is actually surprised by this. But one thing to consider is timing. At 4:50 p.m. Eastern on a Friday, of all days, the New York Stock Exchange is closed, but the crypto market is always open. And following this announcement of further tariffs, enormous ones as well, on top of export controls on critical software, the crypto market basically fell apart. It's called a flash crash is the technical term, where rapid decreases in token prices trigger liquidations and subsequent forced selling afterward, which compounds the problem in a down.
There was a lot of people using leverage, and again, people using leverage in the crypto market is something that happens all the time. But this leverage exacerbates the moves, and that's why we saw people get wiped out, and then we saw even more dumpage.
Spiral. Algorithmic trading is a very delicate thing lately.
And then, of course, we know now that someone also took their life because of this, ladies and gentlemen. So this is crazy. This is crazy level stuff. People are taking their lives over this stuff. So this is wild.
When the cycle starts, it can be difficult to stop. And it certainly didn't help that major exchanges like Binance and Coinbase encountered service errors during like the peak of these problems.
Guys, hit the
Some of them
like
so
button
bad that
and
they'll be
subscribe if you
compensating their
haven't. I
customers as a
appreciate you.
result. But all things together, it was a pretty big and very fast crash. Bitcoin, which had already been struggling throughout the day as a result of the president's first tweet or post on Truth Social or whatever, fell off a cliff after the second one, okay? Like right over the edge, losing over $10,000 of value in seconds, literal seconds. Altcoins, many of them in the top 100, lost even more, sometimes approaching 70% losses on token
ADA was down like 70, 80%. It was insane.
value in a hurricane of panic selling. The worst ones basically zeroed out briefly, and liquidation pressure was mounting all over the place. It's difficult to get an exact figure on this, but current estimates are that some $19+ billion were lost in total or liquidated, with hundreds of prominent traders getting zeroed out completely.
Massive
I don't
losses.
necessarily have a whole lot of sympathy for the crypto traders using hefty amounts of leverage who ultimately got burned by this, but I think it's important to accurately discuss the fact that many, many billions of dollars were vaporized in a heartbeat, and that has tangible real-world consequences. Ukrainian investor Konstantin Galish was found dead in his Lamborghini shortly after the crash, in what many are speculating as an apparent suicide as a direct result. He allegedly lost tens of millions of dollars, money that didn't actually belong to him, and had no way to...
And we saw other stories as well across the board of multiple, obviously, traders that were using leverage getting just absolutely destroyed. Some people even added more margin to their account so they could try to withstand the blow. But we had other people getting liquidated, which causes a cascading effect, driving the market down lower.
Pay it back. But regardless of the high-profile media attention that this specific case is receiving, the stone-cold reality is that when a move like this happens, a dramatic and quick move like this with all these liquidations, a lot of people lose everything. But a handful of others, in this case I would assert them to be insiders, almost certainly, they make millions. Before going further, data tracking is currently at an all-time high, and only who wants to cut scams, theft of identity, process, sign up for the website, give them legal contact data brokers. So everyone's probably Googled their names before, done for you. Legal departments for all the different companies, and successfully time-intensive.
This is a commercial right here.
For the people you can get to the channel. Direct result of Donald Trump posting on Truth Social. Okay, that's it. That's not to say that some other factor wouldn't have caused a crash in the future, right, of similar magnitude. The crypto industry was massively over-leveraged to a degree where it was almost begging for an incident like this to transpire. But we only have the cards that were dealt. It's not really useful to speculate what else may have caused a crash in the future. Well, remember the timing, 4:50 p.m. Eastern? Yeah, quickly discovered by social media users and verified so far by forensic experts who are still digging through the aftermath. It turns out that multiple traders had not just made profit from this move, they had made nearly $100 million each of highly leveraged and practically immediate profits, down to the second, in tandem with the president's announcement. This account...
So this is also just showing you guys how crazy the timing was of all of this. This incident was insane. It's also still being investigated. Like I said, everything in the blockchain is recorded, so we should be able to find out more information here soon as more people dig through this and the dust settles.
Right here, if we go back in the recently filled orders as far as we can, this account, which was opened less than 24 hours before the crash took place in the lead up to the president's 4:50 p.m. social media post, was opening massive leverage short positions against Bitcoin down to the literal second that the post went live. Look at this. 447, 448, orders are filling and filling, tens of millions of dollars flowing in, flowing in. Keeps going into 449. Even the final short position order itself filled at the exact same time as the president posted. This account was
literally shorting up until the second of the post. To the second of the post. 4:50 p.m.
funded with $80 million just 4 hours before that. And then as soon as the post came out, the account stops immediately. The short positions that they opened become massively and immediately profitable.
So they get instant profit. This is how you know it was insider. It literally had to be someone knowing that he was tweeting. It was up until the minute, or posting. It was up until the minute of the Truth Social post. And then they stop shorting and they instantly get profit. And this is big money. Listen, it gets worse.
And this trader closes out with a near $100 million gain. I'm sorry, I was actually wrong about this, real quick, breaking script and putting the paragraph in after. It's not that the account was funded 4 hours before the post, it's that the account was funded 24 plus 4 hours. So you can't even make the argument that they saw the first post in the AM and said, oh, well, there's going to be tariffs and had some kind of stroke of genius. They did this. They initiated this play from scratch before the president ever said a single thing.
I appreciate you.
Before the public knew anything about incoming tariffs of any kind, and they basically had the foresight to set this whole thing up and then pinpoint accuracy within the second, do it right down to the president's post. Okay, so I was wrong about a detail there, and it makes it so much worse when you actually look at what the reality is. It's insane. They began cashing out $10 million at a time after not just predicting, but opening a mind-blowingly risky trade with absolute precision. Like, you could not have been more perfect.
Just 10 million,
like,
10 million,
the only
10 million,
explanation
10 million.
that I see is that they literally knew when the president was going to post. That's the only way that any of this makes sense.
And that's exactly what I said. They literally had to know when he was going to post. It had to be somebody very, very close to him, if maybe not the man himself.
Down to the second. And they weren't the only ones. Other traders opened multi-$100 million positions in Ethereum, with an untold number of what I would call exceptionally clear insiders benefiting directly from the president's activity.
Now, this is where some of the info kind of mixes. A lot of people are saying it was the same person, but some people are saying that the Ethereum side of things were different traders. So we haven't got that clear yet. Like in the CoffeeZilla one, he said this is the same person. Here, he's saying that it was either the same person or someone else.
But the pattern of tariff and subsequent suspect stock sales, this is not a brand new thing, okay? Perhaps the most prolific example historically that we can look at would be Liberation Day, where the president unveiled sweeping tariffs and sent the entire global market kind of on a roller coaster ride. What if I said that this didn't happen in a vacuum? What if I said that Pam Bondi, Trump's attorney general, sold millions of stock on the same day that the tariffs were announced? What if I said that the acting general counsel for the White House, as in the White House's lawyer, sold shares in a dozen different companies directly before the market chaos, but he purchased, he didn't just sell, he purchased shares of Palantir, which is also coincidentally shortly before Palantir got a massive government contract. How about Gautam Rana, United States ambassador to Slovakia of all places, who likely sold millions in stock right before the automotive tariffs and the Liberation Day tariffs? I can keep going, by the way. Sean Duffy, transportation secretary.
Let's not forget Nancy Pelosi. She's the greatest trader of them all.
He sold shares of like 36 different companies a couple days before Trump started whining about reciprocal tariffs, even though his tariff structure is based on trade deficit, which is brain dead. Stephanie Siptak Ramnath, same deal, selling within 2 days of Liberation Day. And the list is practically infinite. If you look at each individual case of tariff announcements, no matter which one you choose, there are politicians, friendly politicians to the administration, who are making millions selling directly before or purchasing things that go up directly after. Loyalists, so it would seem, in my opinion, are consistently able to beat the market as a direct result of the president's social media and public policy behavior. Crypto is a rigged casino, that much we know, well and truly beyond the standard level of corruption that we see in traditional markets. But when central exchanges stop processing orders for retail investors, right in the middle of a crash that came as a direct result of the president's social media ravings, which were predicted to the very second
guy clearly doesn't
by
like
unknown
crypto.
mega-rich traders who come away with tens or hundreds of millions afterward,
I
there needs to be a large, ongoing, and very comprehensive investigation into this. Except there probably won't be.
There's not going to be any investigation at all.
Again, I don't have a massive degree of sympathy for people that trade on margin and overextend themselves. It comes with the territory. Ongoing risk is tremendous, obviously, but when the entire space experiences what seems to be a coordinated liquidity crunch off the back of a presidential tirade, which results in specific
And this is why I think the crash was literally orchestrated as well. I literally think the crash was orchestrated. Bitcoin was high and it was taking off. I really feel like they're trying to stop crypto from taking off. ETH was about to take off and it felt like whales, and we saw the whale manipulation. Every time cryptos are reaching new highs and about to blast off, it seems like they knock them down, bro. It seems like they're trying to accumulate this stuff before it takes off, because it is finite. Bitcoin is finite. There is only so much of it.
And almost clairvoyant traders making off with the life savings of untold thousands or tens of thousands of people. I don't look at that situation and think, haha, LOL, just another day in the markets.
Zelly's in the building. Michael, what up? Kai Supreme.
I see that and think, my God, the pattern of insiders benefiting from erratic behavior is now so obvious that they're doing it right down to the literal second. As the dust settles and they sift through all the rubble, I want to make a prediction right now, okay? We can circle back to this later on. My prediction is that we've only barely seen the tip of the iceberg on this flash crash. The Bitcoin whale, the Ethereum shorts, those are like cockroaches in the basement. You see one, but there's 55 more that you don't see, because they're hiding in the walls and the floor and under the boxes. This crash likely claimed multiple lives and stole the future from a massive number of people who were
I think this guy's extreme. I just want to say, in my personal opinion, I think this guy's extremely bearish about crypto.
Tricked into the usage of leverage that they couldn't afford by the overly optimistic and predatory financial sector, which has now completely wiped out the retail crypto space across potentially hundreds of tokens. At first, honestly, I was looking at this in a really sort of jaded way. Whatever, another crash. But the more I learned and the more I saw, this was a very suspect chain of events that further emphasizes the fact that high-level white-collar crime appears to be the new normal in America. Obviously, the aftermath remains to be seen.
That's what I was saying. This is the main point of all of this, guys, is we're seeing more and more and more of this. And is this because they're cashing out? They know that this whole thing's going to collapse soon? Or is it because people are just getting greedy? But I know when Rome was falling, people got real greedy in the end, man. And history repeats itself. I'm not trying to be doom and gloom, but I'm just saying what I see, and I call it how I see it.
Speculate that a large industry player is already dead or bankrupt, limping in the background. Other people speculate that this would be the start of the next hype wave, which I really don't think is going to happen. I really hope it doesn't happen. That would never end well. And I've seen every single theory in between as well. But my hope is that some level of accountability gets doled out to those who knew something and traded on insider information before that was public, because it really feels like that happened here, with just openly egregious levels of brazen carelessness. I don't think that this is the dawn of a brave new crypto hype wave. I think millions of people just saw what happens when the insiders make a play on the floor of a rigged casino, openly, and they practically brag about it at this stage. And it really doesn't taste good, right? They're not coming away like, wow, please, sir, may I have some more? Somehow I doubt that the people burned by this are thinking, oh, cool, let me throw...
Andrew with another super chat, bro. You are out of control. Andrew, thank you for the two-piece, bro. Thank you for the two-piece. Bitcoin did a little bit better. But XRP dropped off.
Capital into these awesome, great, technologically sound markets. Or, I don't know.
When XRP goes to 12 Bitcoin to 136K01 CRIE dollar.
For the industry. They're
I
thinking,
hope XRP
get
moves,
me out
man.
of this hellhole, because that was completely
I got
unfair.
XRP, I got BTC.
And they're right to think that. Anyway, I'm going to keep looking in the background.
I hope crypto moons in general, because I want us all to win, man. Thank you, Andrew, man. Crazy support.
It's more of just a stream of consciousness thing,
Misty
more
Blue
so
in the
than like a
building.
structured investigation. But there is plenty to find, I hope. I doubt I'm going to be the one to find it, right? I don't know who these people are. I doubt I'm going to be able to learn who they are, or whatever they actually knew, if anything. But hey, you never know. And if you do want to like say something or reach out to me, anyone watching this, you can contact me through the upperechelon.gg website or Discord or any.
All right, guys, so that was pretty much it. This was recorded live, so I appreciate anybody who's watching this live. If you're watching this on the video, man, make sure you guys check out the live streams. I appreciate you. If you find this content informative, educational, entertaining, make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe. I truly appreciate it. Andrew, thank you for the support, man. But go crazy. Guys, this was the crypto flash crash. Let me know what you guys think about all of this in the comments down below. Me, personally, I think the rise of white-collar crime is definitely increasing. And again, I don't want to be doom and gloom, but it feels like they are literally just grabbing. Everybody's trying to cash out and prepare for basically the collapse of all of this, man. Just from analyzing and studying every single day, that's just what I'm seeing. Now, again, that doesn't scare me. I prepare. If you can prepare for something, you can be ready for it. But I think things are going to get crazy, ladies and gentlemen, in the future. But I do think crypto and Bitcoin are going to be a way out. We're going to talk about the charts and stuff on the weekly outlook and prediction. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. And as always, man, I appreciate you. Make sure you have fun, stay safe, make money. Peace out.